Hello, everybody. This is Greatness Becoming Greater here again with Greatness Becoming Greater rants, GBG rants. Last time we talked, we spoke about selfishness and why it's a problem. Well, I talked about selfishness and why it's a problem. Now, the purpose of this video, I want to discuss how, if you are going to be an unselfish person, how to keep yourself from being drained or used. And I'm just giving my perspective of what I had to do. So there may be other people who have other perspectives and other treatments, other things that work for them. I'm just gonna tell you what worked for me. So it's crazy because as I was recording this and taking notes yesterday, for some reason Windows decided it just wanted to automatically restart my stuff when I left my computer and came back. So all my stuff was gone. I don't know. Windows got it. I need to cut off automatic. I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna figure it out. But so I'll first start with a story. Um, so I reached a point in my life in the past where I had been helping others while also trying to reach my goals, and I ended up in a spot where I was really drained, emotionally, physically, energy wise, spiritually, and I was in a hole that I was like, all right, how do I not end up here again? Because this does not feel good and it is not okay, right? And so while I was in that situation, like sometimes people, ask you for help and things like that. And for me, it all boiled down to this: everything has a cost. Okay, so whenever you do, this is to help you keep your sanity. It's a good rule to keep your sanity to make sure you're not being abused by anybody. Because a lot of people, when you talk about people abusing you, it's not, sometimes people don't do it on purpose. So sometimes you have to do this to help yourself because people that just keep pulling from you, and they might not be doing it on purpose. Sometimes they do it on purpose. Okay, so what I mean by everything has a cost. If any action you do to help someone else happens, then that means someone should be willing to do something for you. So I'll flip it on myself and tell you the first step of my thought process here. So whenever I used to ask someone for help, and depending on how big the help is or how little the help is, I am willing to compensate that person for their time. So let's say someone I needed help moving, but I don't have a lot of money. Okay, so some people come over to help me move, then that means within reason I should be able to help them with something. If they need move, if they need help moving, I should be there to help them move. If I can't like pay them, and if you could pay them, just pay them. You know, like because people time you can't get back. So if you can compensate them for their time, it's all about time compensation, and emotional compensation, physical compensation. So time compensation. If I'm taking away from your time, I should be paying for it some way, or willing to pay for it some way. And I'm not talking about anything weird or extreme. Like, if somebody trying to pressure you into do something sexually because of something else, don't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be. I wouldn't recommend doing that. That's not good. That's probably gonna make you worse than what you are. But I'm talking about like as far as labor that you're willing to do. So if I help some, if someone helped me move, then I mean, for one, I should be able to help them move when their time comes. Or if they don't need help moving, then I should be able to pay them for their time. So I pay you for your time. It's just like a job. We get it done. Or if they need someone to talk to someday, I'll be there for them to listen. Because at least I can do is listen to you since you spent an hour or two or three or eight helping me move. Or let's say I needed help with something like a business venture, and somebody helps you figure things out. They took you through the process. Like, you should be able to help them by either doing something for them when they need it, or if they ask you to pay it forward, like, since I helped you with this, I need you to help somebody else. And you should be able to do that because that's the least. I mean, they're not asking you for thousands of dollars, so why not do something else for somebody else? And so your life is a fuel tank. You have mental fuel, physical fuel, and then you have security. So things that take away from your mental, because sometimes you need to rest. You need to keep yourself together. So you need to have plenty of time to rest and recuperate. Because as you do anything in this world, it drains you. Whether you helping a lot of people, whether you're going to work, whether you're working on your craft, at some point in time you need to rest. So anytime you need to rest and somebody asks you to do something during your time of rest, for one, if it's not important, I would say no, don't do it. That's one big way to keep yourself from getting in trouble. So if it's not an emergency, I would say your first answer should be no. If you need, and we say need to rest, like if you're drained and tired, you should rest because it's easier, it's more optimal for you to help someone when you're rested. You think clearer, you're more relaxed, you're less edgy. It's just better that way. So when things start cutting into the time in which you should be resting, the price goes higher. So if somebody was like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?" You can respond if you want to. You don't even have to respond, honestly. But you see what it is. They're gonna tell you what it is. Be like, "I'm like, hey, resting. If you can be busy resting. If you say I'm busy, you're busy. Get your rest in. You might want to rest before you talk to them." Now, sometimes we have those people who want to talk to you about multiple things in the dream. You get tired of listening to it. And how I deal with those things is, like I say, price has to be paid. So if we have somebody who, first, I don't like listening to the same problem more than twice because depending on the issue, if it's something that somebody's actually trying to develop. So let me start here. Someone comes with you to vent. All right, I might listen. Second time, okay. Third time, it's like, all right, how are you trying to fix this problem you're venting? Now, some people have problems that they can't fix. Hmm. That's rare, but some people have those. But you still can fix the way you look at the problem because thinking about it negatively is not going to help. So we'll start with the fixing thing. So at the third sign, it's like, okay, you have these issues. Have you thought of any ways to fix them? If they say no, then all right, here's where you start reclaiming your time. It's like, okay, if you haven't thought of any ways to fix your problem, research some ways to fix your problem, and don't talk to me until you find some ways to fix them. So the next time they come to you to have this conversation, they should have solutions. If they come still with no solutions, they shouldn't be talking to you. Now, if they do come with a solution and they tried it, then that means they're making progress. And that's the cost. So, like, that's one of my costs for the things. Like, you have to be willing to help yourself in order to have this conversation. That's my price. How are you willing to improve yourself? And eventually, if a person is continually improving themselves, they won't have the problem. So the situation will stop. But if they're not improving themselves, and you just got to be honest with yourself, because people always say in relationships or not, or friendships, oh, I didn't know they were this kind of person. When you start putting people to test and having them actually perform actions, that's when you start figuring out who a person is. Because like I said, improvements. If a person is not making any improvements, and they're telling you they're lying. And if you believe them, you're being delusional on purpose. You're allowing yourself to be duped. Okay? So now we got people who always ask you for things. So let's say somebody asks you for money. Now, depending on, so me personally, like I said in the last video, I always, save up a little bit that I always just have ready to give out. If I got it. Sometimes I don't got it, just can't do it. It's what it is. And if I'm not saving up, that's what it is. I just don't got it. All right. So, but if you haven't saved up anything to give anybody and they asking you for money, you got to ask yourself, are you going to be okay parting with this money? Because I always go by the rule of if you give someone money, don't expect to get it back. Okay. If they're asking to borrow it, they say don't give it back. Maybe, but don't expect to get it back. Now, if somebody asking you for money, absolutely, and it's not a borrow, they don't want it back. You don't want it back. Like I said, there's a price that needs to be paid. So you come to me, you ask me for money. You're like, hey, can I get like $20? I'm like, oh, you can get $20. You want to cut my grass? You can get $20. Can you run somebody to the store for me? You can get $20. Can you watch somebody for me? And if they say no, then what's the issue? Why are you not willing to help somebody who's willing to help you? Why do you want everything for free? And these things that I'm talking about too, for preserving your energy and keeping your sanity, will also help you determine who a person is. Because when a person isn't willing to pay those type of prices, then it lets you know how selfish they are. So if I'm venting to somebody and I got some issues or whatever, I should be able to ask somebody after I'm done venting, hey, what do you need help with? You took time to listen to me. What would you want? And if somebody tell you, hey, I need you to go do a robbery with me, now you need to get rid of that friend. Unless they, people be joking, unless they serious, and you be like, hey, bro, it's my fault for taking up your time. I need to find new friends. All right. Now, let's say we have, because I know a lot of people too who they'll bend over backwards for people. They'll drive them all sorts of different places. If they need an ear, they'll help them. They'll help them move. They'll give them food. They'll do all this stuff, and then when they need help, it's gone. Now, the moment that happens, this is the after effect. So, anytime you help somebody, and then the time to help you comes, and they don't help you, get them out of there. And I only do about 2 strikes when it comes to this, maybe less. Like usually, I'm a 1 strike person when it comes to certain situations, but I give them 2 strikes. If you give anybody 2 strikes, it's no 3 strikes. 2 strikes and they out because they trying to use you and push limits. Anybody who stretches your limits, that's not what the person you want because they just want to see how much they can take and take and take from you. All right. But when you got people who you taking them so for me, I had a person who it was a time when my car went down and I didn't have a lot of money, but somebody was picking me up every day and taking me to work. Well, not every day, but they were picking me up twice out of the week to take me to work. I was switching through different drivers. And when I had the money, I gave them the money. But also the same thing, I'm like, hey, if you need help with anything, just let me know. If you need me to come help you move something, if you need me to do business things for you, I'll take care of it. And so, time came and it was like, hey, I got somebody who need help with this situation. Could you help me? I was like, yes, I can help you, because during this time period in which I really needed a ride to work, you helped me. Wasn't even a question. Okay, I could better say how repayment goes. If repayment does not compromise your values, that's what you should be doing. If somebody asking you for repayment that compromises your values, just let them know hey, this compromises my values. I can't do that. If they won't budge on that, then don't deal with them anymore. Okay. So now back to the people who they're running people all over the city. They're doing all this stuff for them. So as you keep doing this stuff, you need to actively start asking them for things because that's going to keep things in check. And I'm not saying cause honestly, the goal is for people to not keep asking you for help. You're supposed to put people on their feet so that they don't have to keep asking you for help. So you ride somebody to the store, you can be like, all right, listen, I'm taking you to the store. Now, if they don't have a job, and this is where I have this criteria of bettering yourself. If I'm taking you different places, I'm going to have to see you fill out some applications and send them to me. I'm like, well, you're not my pops. Well, hey, I'm running you places, ain't I? I don't think you can complain. If you don't have a job and you sitting at home all day, you need me to do stuff for you, you need to fill out some applications. If you don't want to fill out some applications, then you need to start doing some stuff to make money to help me out. If you're not willing to do that, then I might have some money making schemes that you need to help me with. And if you're not willing to do that, then I don't need to be helping you, and you probably don't need to be in my life. So these are different ways to protect your costs. And kind of what helped me understand this too was um, when I was reading the Bible, like a lot of miracles were based off of somebody doing something. So like say somebody wanted to be healed of blindness, like Jesus would say something like, "Hey, go over there and put mud on your eyes." It's something simple, but it's an action. And sometimes people would be too prideful to be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do it." So sometimes, like, you might be wanting to give somebody money, and you be like, "Hey, if I give you this money, before I give you this money, I want you to go tell 10 people have a good day and be blessed." If they can't do that, they don't need the money. I just do all of that. I mean, it's a simple price to pay to help somebody have a good day. Why not? So, and like I said, I'm re-recording this, y'all. I had like a little outline and all this, everything gone, so I'm just shooting from the cuff again. But the moral of today is basically, like I said, in order to protect your energy, to keep yourself from being overused, everything has a cost. So to summarize, if you've helped somebody, they should be able to repay the favor. If they don't repay the favor, you got to question their loyalty and their willingness to, should you be around this person? Are they good people? And then when somebody is asking you for things, you need to put a price on it. And some people are like, I don't need to put a price on these things. You need to put a price on it because you have to keep yourself sane. You should be out here doing something. So working every day, whether it's for yourself or somebody else, you need rest. And when things cut into those times, they cut into your rest, they cut into you taking care of yourself and your family, a price needs to refill that. It just makes sense because there aren't a lot of people who help others. And if you are one of those people who help others, the world is better with you than without you. The world is better with you having your sanity than without you having your sanity. Because you're willing to help more people than they are. So we need you to keep yourself in optimal efficiency. So, it's greatness rants. So just let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Like I said, I'm not right about everything. I'm just throwing things out to try to make things more positive. So if y'all got tips and things, if y'all feel like something wrong with what I said, just let me know. Trying to think of anything else. I think I might do follow-up videos in case I need to correct certain things I'm saying. But just let me know what y'all think, and everybody be blessed. GBG out.